So right now I got a 2002 Land Rover. It is a freelander with a 2.5 liter. I am replacing the thermostat housing. This part right here is underneath the intake. I will try to record as much as I can. But it's kind of difficult with one person. So I'll get what I can for you. First thing I'm going to do, I'll disconnect the battery. Pull these hoses. We'll push tabs, push pull. Disconnect all these. Just basically disconnect everything that's connected to the plenum. Get it out of the way. Oh, basically just pulled throttle body off. Not throttle body, sorry. Breather tube, mass. Just kept this tube connected. This one goes right here, and this one runs right underneath there. Second little tube runs into this little pipe. Just pinch these two ears right here. Right there. Pinch those two. And it pops right out. I'm going to disconnect your coil connectors. These just push out. Connector pops right off. Disconnect your alternator. Just move that aside. And you're going to pull your wires. And then take off that ground strap. Should be it's like 10 millimeters. Alright, so we got pretty much everything disconnected from the upper plenum. Went ahead, took out the alternator just to have some more room to do that. Got to pull the mount. That goes right there. Now I got 1, 2, 3, 4. 15 millimeter bolts, and you got 17 or 18 millimeter nut, and then another 17 millimeter or 15 millimeter bolt. And that comes out, and that gives you room to get the lower alternator bolt out. An alternator does come out. Just got to finagle it a little bit, and when I get the intake off, I'll show you everything. There's a bracket in the back. I'll show you when I take the intake off. Alright, so I got the intake off. As you can see, I'll show you the little bracket. A little bracket. 8 millimeter bolt. That holds it on in the back. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Bracket. All the connectors. You see those big old holes right there? to slide into. So you're just going to pry in between here and the upper intake very gently and pop them off. There's a little gap right here on this side. You can slide a little flathead in and pop it off. But that's the top right there. Oh, also, this wiring harness is held on by two Phillips screws. You have a vacuum hose that runs underneath this wiring harness. You see there's a little push tab on that side. There's the push tab on that side. Not sure where the other end goes. The customer that brought it to me kind of started diagnosing it itself and pulled the air box and everything off. So we'll find out if it's in the back of the car when we go to put it back together. Just kind of a look at the lower intake. Fuel line. Looks like just a push tab and pull. Everything else is pretty straightforward. Couple 8mm bolts on the fuel rail on. Disconnecting your injectors. Both sides. You can see those bolts that hold down the loader, and the ones that hold down the fuel rail. Should be able to unbolt the fuel rail and slide it over, push it out of the way. Alright, so you can see lower intake's off. This is what's being replaced right there. Thermostat housing. Bolt right there. See, that's where it's broke right there. So you got the little seat clips. Pop those off. Make sure you don't lose them. 1, 2, 3. 10mm bolt. You got another tube. Goes back here. Attached to the water pump. Pull that off, and yeah, so on the lower intake you got, let's see, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Should show you the intake. This intake, it comes apart 2 pieces. So I got 3 bolts at the bottom. So it sits in there like this. 4 bolts across the top. You got your 2 bolts for your injectors. Take those off. This one is kind of a pain in the ass to get to, but if you got a swivel socket, you can reach it. The middle one's pretty easy, but as soon as this one comes off, these ones are really easy to get to. It sits like this. Give me a second. Essentially sits like this. There's a little gap you can get through the extension and get to those bolts. So there you got 3 out the bottom. 3 at the bottom, both sides, 4 across the top. Fuel line. Alright, so my phone died recording it, but I got thermostat housing out. The thermostat pipe is what they call it. Thermostat cooling pipe goes from here to this hose. And you have another pipe that runs from here to your thermostat housing on this end. So basically goes like that. Here's the pipe that I pulled off of there. This is the one that goes right here. But the customer did not provide that part. So we will be waiting to get that. Should have it in a couple days. But some things I did: clean out these holes, try to get all the rust and corrosion out of there. Make sure you get any debris that drop down in here. Clean out this pipe. I'm gonna clean out that sludge. And then while I'm in here, I'll try to spray some cleaner in there and clean out the valves. Might as well while I'm in here. But for now, I'm at a standstill until I get my part, unfortunately. But I also had to repair my knock sensor wires. So they go right here, and there's no harness side, but they were basically melted together. So put new wire looms over them, taped them, fixed the wires. I'll show you what the other pipe looks like. Here's your other pipe. It goes in there, attached to your thermostat housing. I would suggest, whoever does this, you buy the complete kit. It comes with this, the elbow that runs from here to here, and it should also come with lower intake gaskets, and also your upper intake O-rings and gaskets. It'd be really smart to do so. But that's it. This is everything back together. Vacuum hoses. One's down there. This hose runs all the way underneath this intake. So make sure you put that hose on before you put the intake on. The upper intake anyways. There's over here. I have a vacuum hose right here that I believe the customer took off. We don't have it. Same with the air box, air filter box. Everything's back together.